Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Isabelle Hau, and I am the Executive Director of the Stanford Accelerator for Learning. But my most important title today is that I am the president of Amanda Bickerstaff's fan club, a much sought after title. So a little bit about the Stanford Accelerator for Learning. We leverage the revolution currently underway in science, in data, and in technology to create more effective and equitable learning solutions. We are housed at the Stanford Graduate School of Education, and our work is interdisciplinary. So on any given day, I have the pleasure of working with faculty, with staff, and with students across all our 7 schools at Stanford toward a bright future of learning for all. I bolded here the word technology in this mission statement, because with AI, technology has been catapulted to a different level. AI was maybe 10% of my work in education before ChatGPT was launched. It is now 90%. So Amanda asked me to answer this question: what is a moonshot for AI and education? And I had to go back to where we are in education today and our multiple intertwined crises. First, we have a learning crisis with 70% of 10-year-olds unable to read a simple text on this planet. We have a teaching crisis with job satisfaction being at a 50-year low point. We have a crisis of engagement with fewer than half students being engaged at schools. We also have a mental health crisis with 1 in 5 youth suffering from a diagnosable mental health condition, only compounded by climate change and unprecedented migration patterns. And last but not least, we have a trust crisis. Americans' confidence in our public schools is at a low point, with only 26% of respondents in a recent Gallup survey indicating a great deal or a fair amount of confidence in our public schools. So what is my moonshot for AI and education? Well, it's both simple and ambitious. I dream that each and every child learns and thrives in our dynamic AI future. This means dreaming for children with learning differences and disability, for girls in Afghanistan or in rural areas without access to education, for immigrants and refugees trying to understand a new language and culture, about new possibilities with AI technology. This also means dreaming for a true transformation of our education systems, from standardization to differentiation, because every child is different and deserves the best opportunities. But let's look at each prong of this moonshot, starting with every student. So research on AI and education is still early days. We have emerging promising research across writing, creativity, and even jobs, where AI seems to be acting as an equalizer, supporting those learners who were previously underperforming the most. AI is also opening new possibilities. So here is a picture of Google Glasses that some of my Stanford faculty colleagues had built for children on the autism spectrum. It allows those children like Vivan Feroz, here, an 11-year-old boy, to identify emotions for the first time of their parents or loved ones. My team at Stanford has also various projects going on for learners with low visual impairment, for children with dyslexia, or for neurodiverse children. AI really holds a promise of better access. AI is also paving the way for new solutions for another group of students generally left behind, multilingual learners via natural language processing and other technologies. The second part of my dream is that every student learns and thrives. Many research experiments are currently ongoing on learning and well-being outcomes. One of my colleagues at Stanford, Emma Bronskill, has shown that AI can help with struggling learners and large classrooms. Researchers in China are showing that intelligent tutors seem to be improving grades and motivation. My colleague at Stanford, Dora Dembski, is showing that AI can empower new forms of feedback in classroom, driving better student outcomes. While my other colleague, Chris Peach, is experimenting with better ways to train teachers with avatar students. Other colleagues at Stanford University are testing collaborative AI agents to assist with small group instruction and collaborative learning. AI is also surprisingly maybe showing that it can be more empathetic, at least in the health settings where patients rated AI as more empathetic than doctors. It holds a promise that it can support learners to indeed thrive. In college, empathetic chatbots are resulting in better academic performance and persistence in college. Colleagues at Stanford have shown some benefits in other chatbots on mental health for young adults. The third and last prong of my moonshot is that every child learns and thrives in our dynamic future. But what and how should children learn in this new age of AI? The reality is that there was a gap between what we teach and what employers need well before ChatGPT and other generative AI technologies were introduced, and this gap is widening. On the positive side, Gen AI gives us an opportunity to rethink our education systems, to better tap into the innate curiosity, talent, and passion of our students. But there are two big questions in front of us: what we learn and how we learn. And both need to evolve. On the what, I propose a new framework of CCDDE, focused on critical thinking and problem solving, creativity, digital learning and AI literacy, data literacy and computational thinking, emotional intelligence, and ethics. I also think we need to rethink pedagogy and how we learn. We need to increase student and educator agency, as well as collaborative learning and teaching, as there is a big risk of further isolation with technology. We also need to teach our students to engage with AI and those technologies. The other question in front of us that you may have is, will there even be jobs in this AI dynamic futures? And the question is still open. From what we know is that there is an impact. OpenAI has estimated that 80% of jobs will have at least 10% of their roles being impacted. However, prior waves of technology advances have led to job creation. So the debate on automation versus augmentation is wide open. But let me be clear that to get to this moonshot, there are some big questions to land: engagement, safety, bias, ethics, equitable access, and more. Stanford, my team at the Stanford Accelerator for Learning and Stanford HAI held a summit in February with a closing session that had two remarkable leaders in education, Sal Khan and Chris Peach. And they both pondered about student engagement in particular as a key question to solve in our future of education with AI. I would also add that while initial research seems to be promising, arguably EdTech has failed to improve education and well-being outcomes for our students. So there is a lot of reason for skepticism. So let me conclude here with my moonshot for AI and education of every child learns and thrives in a dynamic AI future, and give the final word for ChatGPT. Will you embark on this moonshot for AI and education, daring to revolutionize learning, aiming to illuminate every student's potential like stars in a boundless sky? Thank you very much.